Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, and today we'll be diving into our NBA best bets. As always, before we get started, I have to let you guys know this video is completely powered by Split Labs because we built you the exact tool that we wanted to use as sports bettors. Split Labs shows you public betting splits, line movement, and market signals across all major sports in one place. If you want to see what the crowd is doing, where the line is going, and what the market is hinting at, that's literally what we do every single day. Head over to the link in the description. Splitlabs.net. Use promo code YouTube for 50% off your first month. And let's get into today's slate. We've got a pretty large one on the board here. A lot of games with some ugly numbers and big spreads. So I think this is definitely like the time for us to be cautious and a little mindful of like the games that we're going to play here. I mean, look at the first couple of games here. We've got a minus 620 favorite, minus 2,500. I mean, it's against the Nets. That should be anybody. Minus 600. I mean, we've got ugly numbers across the board here. But let's kind of get started, see where maybe we can lean on, and we'll go from there, see what we can get out of some of these ugly games, maybe check out some of the ones that are more evenly priced. But for now, we'll start off with the Warriors. We've got the Warriors coming into Boston, facing off against the Boston Celtics. Of course, as we know, this Warriors team is not in the greatest place. Stephen Curry's out. Everybody knows that. Gary Payton is probable. Nice morale. Jimmy Butler out. It's just a tough team right now for the Warriors. Moses Mooney out. Let's check Boston. Boston's relatively healthy, so like the line makes sense on why we're seeing this. As far as the spread, it opened at an 11.5. It's now sitting at a 12. So again, it's moving pretty minorly towards the Boston Celtics, but again, the line movement is matching what we're seeing here with the public, where we're seeing 70% of bets, 71% of money on Boston minus 12. Same thing with the money line. 95% of bets, 99% of money on the Boston Celtics straight up. They opened at a minus 550, now currently setting at a minus 620. This is not an upset spot, right? Like if you were going to think that you should sprinkle on the Warriors, maybe this just isn't it. There's no read there, no indication that it's even close to happening. All of these things are priced accordingly, and I think that's something that we should be mindful of. If you're looking for a dog of the day, this is definitely something that I would avoid. Moving on to the total, we have 70% of bets, 78% of money on over 216.5. It opened at 214.5, now currently sitting at a 216. So again, moving in favor of the public sentiment here. One thing I will say is that given the Celtics are going to clearly win this game, I have a little concern, although it is moving with the line very minorly. I don't know. This feels like a spot where the Warriors get completely blown out and they don't put up the points that, I don't know if I can say we expect them to put out, but the points that maybe the books are going to hand us. I want to lean towards the under here just because it's only moved 2 points with almost 80% of money on it, right? That doesn't feel significant enough, even though it did move, in alignment with the public. It just feels like a very small move for how much money and bets is on this total, especially now that we know, right, like the Celtics are winning this game confidently. So what I'm going to play here is I'm actually going to fade the public on this one, and typically I don't go against the line movement when it's clear, but I'm going to go with the under 216.5 here. If I'm going to pick a fade spot, it's clearly and obviously not the Warriors. So if I think the books need their money back, I'm going to go with the under 216.5 and think that that's maybe how they get things back on this tough matchup. Moving into the next game, let's see if I can find one better that has prettier numbers, to be honest, because right now these are kind of all over the place. Let's jump into the Hawks versus the Dallas Mavericks. Currently, Dallas Mavericks are underdogs at plus 265. Spread's currently sitting at a -8.5. It opened at a -9, trending in favor of the Mavericks, which is definitely something to note. We've got 68% of bets, 57% of money on Atlanta, -8.5. It doesn't really make much sense on why the spread is getting smaller, even though we clearly see that it's taking the majority of the money in the bets. Same thing with the money line, 88% of bets and 93% of money on Atlanta Hawks, -330. It opened at a -350, so again, it's subtle, but it is getting cheaper to take them. As always, we caution, you should not be taking anything over like a 200, to be honest, if I have to say that. So no one should be even thinking about betting Atlanta straight up. But it is something to note that it is moving in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. And then on the total, we have the under 237.5, currently sitting kind of at a pick'em, 55% of bets, 47% of money. So there's a little more money coming in on the over. It opened at 238.5, slowly moving towards the under on this 237. So it's aligned with the public, which is good to note. This feels like, I can't say necessarily an upset spot, but it feels like the Dallas Mavericks will cover. Atlanta's currently healthy. Dallas, we have Daniel Gafford currently coming in as questionable. And then just looking at the one streak here, I mean, of course, do you really bet against Atlanta right now? They're hot, they're streaking, whereas Dallas Mavericks, completely opposite end of the spectrum. So, I mean, it's completely fair that we're seeing this. This does feel like a game where somehow Dallas competes. You've got Cooper. So I think they put up a good fight. I don't necessarily think that they win, but that's what spreads are for, right? So I think here the Mavericks are just going to perform above expectations is probably the best way that I could put it. So I'm going to go Dallas Mavericks plus 8.5. I'm getting a little bit of a worse number, but it's not too terrible from the open. And then also another way that I'm just going to kind of lean into that is I'm going to take the team total on Dallas Mavericks. It's currently sitting at a 114.5. Like I said, I think they're just going to overperform the expectations that the public has for them, given the way that these lines are currently shifting little by little in favor of the Mavericks. It's small, but it's definitely something to note when you have this much money and like public sentiment on one team. All right, let's get into one more game. I want to pick a good one just because, again, like I said, this is a really ugly slate. Let's do the Lakers versus the Rockets. Again, this is kind of currently as it stands like a pick-em. Maybe not. I mean, clearly public sentiment saying the Lakers. You know what? Actually, in my very last video, and I was so upset about this because I doubled down on the Rockets and I was so confident that that was like my best bet of the day. And then Kevin Durant scored like 2 points, I think, in the entirety of the second half and just completely let me down. And I said, this was the worst wager. I was being dramatic. Worst wager of my life. Without even looking at the numbers, I'm going to go Rockets here in an upset spot because, again, in previous videos, they were the favorite and they let it down. They let you down. The Lakers pulled it out and now we're seeing them again, right? So again, public sentiment is you're getting the Lakers at plus money once again. The Rockets are trash. They're not trash, but obviously like the fact that they did what they did and completely collapsed last game, the public's not going to forget that so quickly. It literally just happened 2 nights ago. I have to lean into that, guys. I'm sorry. I have to. But let's go over the numbers really quickly before we make that final decision. 72% of bets, 64% of money on the Los Angeles Lakers plus 2.5. Open to the +2. It's growing in favor of the Lakers when we're seeing all of this money. It's basically the same trend that we saw in the last game, except last time I got bit. As far as the money line, 56% of bets. So again, the public is leaning on the Lakers, rightfully so. Public darling, plus coming in recent form, they literally just destroyed that team. I can't just say destroyed, but like completely took it over. Only 34% of money on the Lakers, which is definitely something to note. As we can see, again, this line movement is moving in favor of Houston. clearly, even with 66% of money on it, clearly there's some sharp sentiment on this is the game that the Rockets win, and I'm definitely leaning into that. I think I'm going Rockets money line here all the way. Rockets money line, you could have me do the minus 2.5 as well if you really wanted to, but Rockets money line is cheap enough. Let's do that. And then as far as the total here, currently sitting at unchanged, but we're seeing 56% of bets, 44% of money on the under 222.5. Currently unchanged, but again, this is kind of a pick'em. You're only seeing about 50-50 on both ends. Nothing's changing because I think the books have a pretty solid number here. So again, I'm just going to avoid that just because there's no clear read there other than the Rockets take this out. And if I lose the Rockets back-to-back, not back-to-back, well, yeah, back-to-back. If I lose the Rockets back-to-back the same way, I have to jump ship. I do expect a better performing night from KD. He had a fantastic first quarter and then just completely disappeared. I feel like we should be course correcting. I don't know what happened. Somebody called down to the floor and told him we need the Lakers to win tonight, and I feel like that's what happened. So hoping that things get corrected today and the Rockets actually compete in the second half, and maybe we actually pull this one out pretty confidently. I don't want to say that this is my best bet of the day just because I said that in the last video and the Rockets again collapsed, never forgetting that. But I do want to lean into the fact that recent form says the Lakers should win this game. They're also currently on a really, really fantastic win streak. And again, they're coming in as underdogs against the Rockets. If it happens again, then we'll see what happens. But with that being said, guys, we're going to end the video here. As always, if this video helped you in any capacity, feel free to like it, subscribe, and drop in the comments your best bets. I'd love to see what you guys are on today, and if there's anything that maybe I landed on that you possibly disagree with, or maybe you're tailing, let me know. As always, if you want access to everything that you guys saw here on today's video, head over to the link in the description, splitlabs.net. Get you 50% off your first month with promo code YouTube. And I will catch you guys on the next one.